What if I told you AI could build an entire world from a single text prompt or one photo? Well, that's exactly what World Labs released with their latest World Foundation model platform called Marble. And I thought I could put it to the task. I wanted to see if it could create one simple scene, my actual kitchen, from a text prompt or a photo. The results? Not what I expected, but what I learned is far more important than just recreating my kitchen. So in this video, I'm going to give Marble 5 different methods to rebuild my kitchen, starting out with a simple text prompt and moving up in complexity in the different types of information I can give it to it, all the way up to their advanced mode called Chisel, which allows you to compose a 3D scene and turn it into a real scene. But first, what is a world model? That might actually be a new concept to you, but it's something that our brains have always done since we were born. Basically, what it is a model that learns and understands the geometry, the physics, the lighting, all the different real-world properties of a scene. You already know this. You walk into a room, you see a table and chairs. You turn, you still know that table and chairs are there. You could probably close your eyes, reach out, and find those without even looking because your spatial memory knows where that is. You also understand light. You know if you go from a dark to a light room, how the light will change and hit you. All of these things that you know from building a world model in your brain as you grow up are something that a computer system doesn't know. So you see these really interesting video generators such as Sora, which does create what feels like a realistic scene, but what it's looking at is predicting the next pixel. It says, I have 2,000 pixels here. What's the next scene? What's the next frame gonna look like for those next 2,000 pixels? It's not thinking, where is the chair in relationship to creating these pixels? It doesn't care about the scene and geometry. So that's where a world model is much different. And Dr. Fei Li, she is the one who is behind World Labs, and as she calls it, spatial intelligence. And with this model, we're able then to give it a text prompt, we're able to get it a photo or a video, and from there it can infer perhaps what the rest of the room looks like. So I should be able to give it some photos of a kitchen or just one, and it should predict fairly accurately the shape, the volume, the surfaces that aren't seen, and create a complete world out of this. And World Labs is one of the very first world models that we're able to publicly and commercially use that produces a 3D output. So naturally, I wanted to give this a try. So with that, we're gonna jump into my computer and start out with a single text prompt to see what happens. Timeout. I know I just said we're gonna jump into my computer and look at Marble, but if you really find that world models are interesting, the best way to learn is to read the research papers that are coming out nearly every day on this topic. And that's where today's sponsor, Brilliant, really comes in handy. When you're reading these papers, having a good understanding of math, science, and even computer science will really help you follow what they're talking about. Brilliant helps you excel in math and computer science with visual, interactive problem solving, and personalized practice. And you might think I don't need to start at the basics of math and computer science, but that's the beauty of this. It actually meets you where you're at. Brilliant tailors experiences to you, meeting you at your level, creating custom practice sets, and letting you progress at a pace that works for you. And these aren't just basic learning modules. They're actually created by an award-winning team of experts from MIT, Harvard, Stanford, Caltech, Google, and more. And what I really like about it, when I'm using it, it's really interactive. I'm not just sitting here and going through a lecture, I'm actually learning by doing. They have actual courses to solve actual problems that I would encounter in my everyday life, which makes me much smarter and better at reading these papers on world models. And all the concepts we're talking about in this video are based on data, and I think that the data courses from Brilliant are really cool. They're highly interactive, and they take you through basic data visualizations, their advanced stuff like algorithms and regression models, which is something that you'll see in these world model papers. They're also working with real-world data from Airbnb, Spotify, Starbucks, and more. To learn for free on Brilliant, go to brilliant.org Brilliant.com/pixel reconstruct, or scan the QR code on the screen, or click on the link in the description. Brilliant also gives my viewers 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant. And with that, I'd like to thank my sponsor Brilliant, and let's dive into my computer and look at those data results. So let's start out with just a simple text prompt. You might see I have some other tests. I did these out of order, but I did this text prompt here. If I go click this button to reuse the prompt, you can see it's a bright, modern, suburban kitchen. What I did, it's this long prompt, but what I did was I basically took a bunch of photos, which you can see kind of down here, uploaded them to ChatGPT and says, describe this room. And I'd say it nailed it really well. So I thought, shoot, this is just going to nail it right out of the bat. I don't even have to think twice about it. I didn't even give it images. And so let's just jump into the 3D world it created. All I can say is it's a beautiful kitchen, but it is not the kitchen that I glimpsed at the start. This is my kitchen for reference of photos. But I thought it did some interesting liberties. I have 2 dishwashers. It has no kitchen island, which I specifically had called out in the prompt, but that's fine. But what I thought is interesting is it got like green cabinets that are actually kind of close to the green cabinets I already have. But it has no awareness of what my actual kitchen looks like. So I didn't expect this to be actually what I had. So that's what you get out of a text prompt. So let's not spend much time here and just jump into the image based one. So it has some better context of what I'm trying to recreate. Since text prompt didn't work, we're going to use this one single image. It captures my kitchen. I don't have like direct look at all the sides, which is a downside, but I did want to capture my dining area as well, because to me, that's what I want. I want the whole area. So I'm just going to drag that in and I'm going to hit create and we're going to see what happens. Like all of these, I'm going to give it a name, but I think it'll automatically give it a name based off context. There's kitchen and dining area. And we're just going to let it generate that scene. I'm not doing any advanced prompting or anything, and we'll just see what happens. Okay, so my world model is complete. It didn't take, I said 5 minutes or so. I think it took even less. You can hit this show original image just for reference, and then you can get this little preview window, but we want to jump into those results and see what happens. I just love the way that it loads that in. Really cool. As I look at this, what I like is that looking at this view, I think it did a pretty good job at nailing my kitchen. I actually see areas I was not expecting it to fill in. If it didn't see this area, not a shock. It also didn't see back there, but it like predicted that there's a doorway, which there is. So that does good. And then this was just out of the view. I think it's interesting. It picked a table nook there. You'll see when I do multiple photos that there is a lot more going on in that spot. But you know, it nailed the cabinets pretty good. It actually pretty much nailed the oven and microwave combo, and I think I had a cup sitting there. Did a pretty good job. But and as you can see, as I move over here, things get a little fuzzier, probably because it only had context from certain angles. So if I get a little off tilt, things go a little haywire. Now, this is completely new. This is not what my house looks like. So I guess if I'm just trying to recreate my kitchen from this side, it did a really good job. It got this. The one thing I was not impressed with was when you come over here, things kind of fall apart. I would love this kitchen to be something that we could navigate with, I don't know, a robot. I can seem to come over here just fine, but I can't come all the way over here. So that might mean I need some expanding. Let's try that now. I'm actually doing all these out of order, but let's do that. Let's try expanding this part of the scene. Okay, so I'm not going to waste your time. I'm in the middle of editing this video and I realized I tried expanding the scene, which is supposed to make the area bigger so you can explore more of it. I tried expanding the scene 4 times. Every time it failed. And as I did that on several different other scenes, they all failed. So I don't know how to use this feature yet, apparently, but I did get it to work one time, which I will keep in the video. I just wanted to let you know that the reason why it kind of jumps forward now is because I tried expanding the scene in different ways and I just kept getting it to fail or make no change. So let's get back to my kitchen. So at this point, like this is something. This is a world I could move in. I did do a previous video. If I get too far over to one side, I'm sorry, this moves really fast when I click around, but things start to deteriorate. And that's where I think the expand helps because it does add extra areas. If I come over here and you look down, like this isn't perfect, but I do have an interesting space I could use. And my goal is for robotics. So I want to be able to move a robot around here or train a scene or put an object here. But otherwise, that's what I've got. This is kind of close, but not exactly my kitchen. So let's see what happens when I add more images. For images, if you look at the guidelines, you can add up to 8. So instead of 1, let's do all 8. I'm going to flash the images I used on the screen here. You can see I varied the angles. I do have a cat at the top, but that shouldn't be a problem. And I think this kind of gets a little bit of the space. What I was missing in the last one is if I go back, I didn't have the context of this part of the room. I never get really close to it, but I don't think I care too much about that. What I want is just to make sure that like I get this area filled in and it has an idea that walls, something like that. Cause I'm really focusing on this kitchen dining area and that should be good. And I see the floors look like. We're going to run this model and see the results as well. And again, if you saw my past video, you saw I already showed this one off, but we're just going to jump in and look at this one because I thought this one is interesting. So, well, I think you end up with a more complete space. I can see that there's a room back here. It did some weird liberties from the photos. I will, again, in the previous video, I covered this pretty well. I'll make sure I link that in the description, but I'll also do it here. One thing I noticed that it didn't do well was it didn't get like these kitchen surfaces quite right. And it didn't get like these pantry over here quite right. Like I don't understand why those are glass when those are very clearly in the imagery as not like that. But I mean, this is good. I mean, like that's exactly what that door looks like. And these are exactly my drawers. There's a lot of things that are exactly right. And this kitchen sink is kind of weird, but I thought, man, this is good. I have now recruited pretty much my kitchen until I move out to here and I realize it messed up on this area here. It didn't do the kitchen island. And in fact, if anything, it did this weird thing here. And you can download things. If you go to download, you can download an image and splats. And it was called a collider mesh. When I did the collider mesh, what it ended up doing was making this whole area here, and I'll put it on the screen, made this whole area here like I couldn't walk through there because it extended the mesh down through. And that was a no-go. And another weird thing is it got my coffee station. It turned my cat into a microwave. That's my favorite part. But here, there was obviously I got some picture reference of my computer station there, and it is not there. But I think like you can kind of fill in those. And there's supposed to be a whole thing about now I can go and say open and create. And I can go then, and from here, I can go to my Pano world, which is just Pano, and I can then annotate things. I say, so describe how you'd like to edit the panorama. The problem is I can't move in this panorama. It's just like an area, and I could update this. I could, but I can't get over there. I can't say put the computer station in there. For some reason, it placed me here, and I can't figure out where it decides to put the panorama. I thought it would put it in like the middle of the scene. Geez, it even got a perfect trash can. But again, let's see if I can fix this. I mean, I don't have a good reference photo, but I'm just going to see if I can grab off one of those photos, how to fix that. And I think what I can do is select an area to edit. Says like maybe right here. Make that a little bigger. That. We'll click that. And then I think I can add images. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick edit on this guy, and I'm going to crop him down just to what we want as a reference. Now, it is kind of skewed, but I think maybe that'll work. Well, let's see what happens. We're going to save. And then I'm going to say add image. add that in there and I say, update the kitchen cabinet style. And we'll apply this edit and let's see what happens. One thing I wish I could do was edit the look back here. I cannot move over and edit this area. It looks like I was trying to put a rug there, but I don't know. This is the one problem I've had so far with Marble is I can't move around and edit. Okay, so I do see that updated. I don't think it fixed it at all. It pretty much looks the same as I go back and forth. So I think maybe I just don't know how to edit these, but if I jump back into the world, I would say so far, it's a hard toss up between the last two. I did do this. This room is a little bit more faithful. The tree was actually in the back corner. It didn't get things really far away, but at least it got this like arch area correct. And it's got a table here. I don't have that side room, but I think that's fine. It got my kitchen, but I just don't know how to fix this. The one last try is maybe expand. Jonathan again. Expand did not work. I'm not going to waste your time. All right, so we're going to move on to the next thing. I did a video, which I'm going to put on the screen right now. This is the video of me walking around, and I actually ended up doing 2 attempts, but this is the first attempt, and I learned some things. So if you want to try the video mode, you're going to learn what I just learned. Okay, so here is the result from that video, and it opens up to this beautiful room that I don't really have. It's got this nice Christmas tree. Yes, it's not even Thanksgiving yet, but we have one. It's even got my couch. I mean, this is pretty darn close to the couch I own. This room was a little messy, but it did a really good job at reproducing that room. But I was trying to reproduce this room, and if you look, that is not my kitchen. And there's not my dining table. But if you saw that source video, I looked at this briefly, and then I really focused on this room. And it didn't make that room. It got the color of my cabinets correct. It didn't quite make a kitchen island. It got the floors somewhat accurate. I thought it was interesting, and it put 2 of these chairs here, probably because it made this island a little longer. It kind of has a bay area window, but this is not my kitchen at all. So I would say this is a failure, and it got me thinking, like, why did it do this? I was a little surprised, and then I realized that maybe because my video started looking this direction, it initializes with the direction you look at. So maybe that's the problem. So here's the next video I tried, and I'm gonna again it's sped up on my screen. I can only take a 30-second video, so I was fast, but I wanted to make sure I really focused on the kitchen. And so if I go back to the world models here, this was the try from the second video. Here it is loaded. To me, this looks better, but it did get this arch. It did not get that part of the room right. It did not really get the kitchen. I mean, to me, this is getting further away. It's better than the last video. And I thought the video would be like the surefire way of getting things because you got all this images in 30 seconds, all the context. It should have had all of this. And what do I end up with? Not at all my kit. I mean, my kitchen kind of, but not the one I wanted. The floors don't look quite right. Does have my iMac, so there's that. But again, I had a chair there, and it looks like it just made up other parts of the house, which it's fine. I didn't focus on those. I focused over here. So to me, I feel like it's getting this. Maybe we give this a C if I was to grade it. So with that, I kind of gave up on the video, and after I made all these, I realized I think the video is best made for you to stand and turn as a way to do like this. Let's say this is the camera. The way for me to do like a 180 or a 360 pano of a specific area, just so I can then capture that area as opposed to using a 360 camera. But guess what? I got a 360 camera. So that is the next mode we're going to do. And I used a 360 image on my screen, and then I got this. This is probably one of the most convincing versions of my kitchen. You can see where my tripod was set up. I did take a photo of how I had that set up. Some things look really good, but guess what? It didn't know what was underneath it. I cannot get that kitchen island. It's like It's an impossible task. It didn't know that this room existed, so it just kind of left it blank. It has my cat up there, which I thought I did a good job. I had another cat. I was hiding when I took this, so I wouldn't be in it. But my cat walked through, and I have, hard to see here, but a ghost cat. Um, this is a bathroom, an office area. It got this room actually pretty faithful, so that was kind of cool to see. And then this didn't turn out half bad. But again, I don't have this like area in here with this whole area. And then this in the mesh collider will, I'm assuming, not look great. Let's see what happens. So I can go here and I can download a mesh collider. So I imported the mesh layer into MeshLab because it always is upside down. So if I flip this scene 180 degrees, now we're inside of the room, and it's kind of weird. I don't know the scale of this and the center pivot point, but this is the kitchen, and you can see like it just takes this whole entire kitchen island, and the floor is not flat. If I want to use this for sim or something like that, or a game, this is way too coarse. Doesn't quite work for me. But going back to this then, so the ground isn't even. It does all sorts of weird things. Hey, I did get my dog, so that was one cool thing. But I thought the panel was cool because it was one shot and it got it pretty good. I guess if I was using this for like virtual something, I could use it as a background. But if I want to use this as an actual 3D world to walk around in, it's not going to work well for that. And I just don't know what to do. Let's try one more time expanding. I don't think it's going to work, but maybe if I go here, tell it to expand, we'll get lucky. All right, so done expanding. This one took the longest, so maybe it was worse. Interesting. So maybe when I expand it, should I be giving it more word context? I don't think so because I don't have an ability to do that. So it didn't even make more room here. It changed this. I guess it completed this side, but still not that side. And really destroyed the end of this countertop here. So I think that there's some things that will be improved over time. I mean, this is V1. Remember, Chat GPT early on was not the greatest. So with that, I have one more way to create. You'll hear there is a one I have not done yet. So there is define your 3D layout with Chisel. Let's give that a shot. What is Chisel? And I see now I can like drag across and then depth and then bring it up. And then now I have like some sort of counter there maybe. And then maybe I want to do another one. So I can click my other one. And now see how I'm starting to build like the room. And then maybe in the middle, I had my kitchen island. So I'm going to extrude that up. And then, I mean, I think I have like one more counter kind of over here. This is, but what I don't know how to do, I guess I can I extrude from the walls? Oh yeah, I can. So it's not the most intuitive controls, but I am not like a 3D creator. So I'm probably looking at this from the wrong viewpoint because I am not like a classical 3D creator. And I thought the whole reason we use this is we don't have to do any of this, but here we go. I'm gonna go across and I'm gonna speed this up and you'll see my final thing at the end here. Okay, so now I have like this kitchen island and I have the wraparounds. I don't think I actually recreated all the room I have, but let's just see what happens. And then we have our kitchen. So I'm gonna put that kitchen in there. We're gonna generate, it should generate the panorama. Okay, so now it created this panorama. I'm gonna download that because I'm just curious what that looks like. And so then I should hit create world. And I'm gonna fast forward to 5 minutes and see what this looks like. Whoa, we got our kitchen. We got our kitchen island. We got, oh, interesting. It did my wraparounds like I told it. Turned one wall just into more of those. This is where I had like the short wall, and I thought it would turn these things into cabinets, but I guess it went all the way up to the ceiling, so that didn't make sense. So it did this cool like drop ceiling, which is not at all what I was expecting, but very interesting. So again, Chisel, I think Chisel could have some promise, but for some reason, I just cannot get an occlusion, a single kitchen island in the middle where I could literally walk around this. Because let's say I wanted to put this in Isaac Sim or Isaac Lab more to explore this, and I wanted to train a robot to walk around this kitchen. This isn't going to work, which is unfortunate. Okay, so we tried all 6 methods, and as I kind of hinted at the start of this video, none of them were perfect. I was not able to really create my full kitchen. Usually that island was an issue, and I think that maybe an open room with no middle occlusions may be the easiest thing for me to do. So maybe at this point, Marble really is just for doing open rooms where you don't have to worry about capturing occlusions and filling in the blanks there. But the more I dove into this, the more I realized I think I've been framing the use of Marble completely wrong. There is a complete tool set to make 3D Gaussian splat output, just like we saw in these videos, that can recreate a whole room in minutes. There is the Portal Cam, which is a great dedicated scanner for it. You can just use an iPhone and use all sorts of software on your computer just to get a perfect 3D Gaussian splat. So why then would we look to Marble to create a 3D world? Well, I think there's the magic. For me, I'm looking to use it for simulation. I want to be able to train a robot in this scene. Maybe I want to use this for movie production and I don't actually want the exact scene in front of me. Maybe I want to change it up a little bit. What this is a system that will generate these immersive worlds like the ones I'm showing on the screen. These worlds are ones that other people have made and have much better imagination than me. And so maybe I want a kitchen that looks like mine, but isn't the exact same kitchen. Because when it comes to simulation, you don't always want to be using the exact same scene every time. You need to have a similar domain, but slightly different in different tests to make sure that your simulation is working on diverse data sets. So that's what's really interesting about this. I could perhaps capture a kitchen or a space, an outdoor area, and then make 100 variations without having to go use traditional tools to recreate this all in 3D. So we're just touching the tip of the spear of what you can do here. And this is a world model behind all of this. So my hunch is that what they have created here is just the first way we'll be able to inference this world model at World Labs. I know that Dr. Feifei Li and the team that she has will be able to create all sorts of interesting outputs from this. This is a very natural first way for us to learn how these work. I'm very excited about this, and I think we should all be focusing on this because in the future, we're gonna have this ultimate data generation machine. I'm pretty sure we'll have animated characters, all sorts of things in here, and this is an exciting time. Well, with that, if you found that this video was interesting and you want to give it a like or a share, I think actually commenting is the most helpful thing you can do for me right now because that tells me you liked this. And please give me a subscribe if you want to see more content on this. I will be diving deep into world models and still be doing some 3D Gaussian splatting videos as well. With that, I'll see you guys in the next episode.